To be fair, Hustler actually does play a really mean Earth Spirit.
He
I think
does.
the performance from him is something to watch out for. So I do like it here for RR. This is something we've seen them pick before, and they do make it really work. I think the one thing with RR's draft right now, there is still a lot of flexibility with that Queen of Pain. You don't tend to see the Alacrity hero this early, so I have a feeling it might not be the KYXY Treant. We might see him in Quap instead. Because,
Really?
with RR, the way they draft is Alacrity last for the most part.
Hmm.
It's always about Alacrity trying to get the hero he wants, either the SF or the TA, sometimes the Storm. Probably wouldn't bet on the Invoker. The Invoker Classic Sword was not quite online, so maybe not that. Still, Cignal. They go for the DK
I like
themselves. There's
that.
still flex there. Yeah, right?
The DK
There's
is really good though. Like, because you
mm.
know you're going to have those problems with the Train Protector. They've watched these games from RR. They know what's coming. The Dragon Knight and Jakiro combination. You've got both the dragons. It's so much dot damage onto those towers. You get a Dragon Scale on top of that. Kind of gets ridiculous, John. We saw
Mm.
it yesterday, the DK with a Dragon Scale. I think it was a level 1 dragon. It'll do 21 dot damage on a tower, plus 15 from the Dragon Scale. So 35
Yeah.
damage per second on towers, not to mention you're still attacking the tower with your base damage. It gets kind of ridiculous. Now you're adding a liquid fire on top of that. So this Treant Protector has got his work cut out for him this game, that's for sure. I do love that pick from Cignal Ultra. I think it's kind of fantastic.
Yeah, it works really well for them. It also has the flexibility factor here, so we might be seeing this on the off lane. We might be seeing it down mid. They do have the choices there. I like that Reality Rip. Do
Really
go
good
into the
pick.
Monkey King. Yeah, it's really solid against the DK. Really works against the Ursa decently. You have to watch out for how much you give the Ursa though. But it is nice for RR. I think you've still got that flexibility in play. It's not quite a traditional Alacrity hero, but you do tend to see a lot of it down mid. Of course, Drew could play it as well. So they're leaving it open for their last pick, which is nice. They will have to show their hand soon. They don't have last pick here, RR, so Cignal, they should be able to read the laning positions after this pick, and they're going to be able to fix up whether they want DK mid or off with their own last.
We'll see the last ban out there being the Viper for Cignal Ultra. Not wanting that Viper around, which is, in all fairness, would have been a great pick for RR had they wanted to run that down the mid lane. RR now with their final ban out. 18 seconds reserve time left. They'll ban out the Centaur. And now, it's still a question of who's going mid for RR. I think the Queen of Pain's fine to go mid up against the DK. Could still be the offlane DK. But then again, offlane DK into Monkey King isn't really great for that Dragon Knight.
No. It's the flexibility of it from RR that is kind of keeping them in check as well. I mean, they need to figure out whether or not Signal's committed to the mid DK. So it's causing some confusion. I think they want the okay. They go for the Dazzle, and we've seen that so many times now. The Dazzle coming out. It's still pretty open in my eyes, although it's starting to look like it should be an Alacrity Quap and a Drew Monkey with KYXY Dazzle, or although I believe he actually takes preference for the Treant, but it really depends on what RR wants in this case. Both heroes are kind of competent as supports. So it's looking pretty alright for RR. They've got sustain with the Dazzle. With this hero though, you do tend to wait for the level 18 and the farm before it starts to kick in with the regen. But once that's up, and you've got the Treant for the living armor, you've got the Dazzle, a lot of sustain here for Reality Rift. Cignal will probably look for someone that can carry the Spirit Vessel. No one here really naturally builds into that. You would want that, in this case, up against RR's draft. Should be about time for them to really commit to where that DK goes. Down mid against Queen of Pain, it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. We've seen that matchup before. And if you play your cards right, it's just going to be an even trade if Cignal wants that to come out. So we'll see. Really digging into their own reserve time, as Reality Rift did earlier on.
Yeah, they'll make their final pickup now. They're going for the puck. I do like that as well. I think it really rounds off the team fight here for Cignal Ultra. Uh, the Earth Spirit's going to hate the puck. The Quap's going to hate the puck. The Monkey King's going to hate the puck. Great pickup there for the Cignal Ultra side to finish off. And if I'm quite frank with you, I think Cignal Ultra's draft actually looks a bit better, in all fairness.
Yeah.
That just depends how they play that out. But they do have a very well-rounded kind of draft here going into this game number 1. They will need to work around their timings very well, though. Right? Like, again, you're going to need to push those towers down quick with the DK. As soon as you hit that 6 mark, you expect him to start chipping down those towers. Don't give this treant space
No.
to spam out that living armor. Because that's how RR win these games with Treant Protector.
Yeah. It's really their biggest stall factor, and you might not see that as much because it is going to be the Nuts Treant. So KYXY is on the Core Dazzle. So the EXP progression for a Treant in the farm is probably going to be a bit slower. There is an opportunity there for Cignal to be a bit more aggressive early. But again, you have to contend with the sustain coming out. Overall, I do agree with you that Cignal's draft is a lot stronger. I think Reality Rift, it's really down to Hustler's presence. We see this every time the Earth Spirit's picked up, but you do have to play aggressive in it. You do have to find those early kills. You have to make every rotation matter, and Hustler has a lot of pressure to win out those first 10 minutes for his team.
Well, it should be a very fun game number 1 between these two. Of course, we talked about it before, but Cignal Ultra are trying to still pick up their first win of any game. And RR, they are currently sitting at 8th place in the group stage standings. They definitely want to try and take this out as a win if they can. And I believe if they actually win this match, they have the chance to take over TNC for the 6th place spot. Not 100% sure on that with the points, but I do believe they might actually have enough if they find a 2-0 victory.
Yeah, that's really going to be important for RR, because TNC right now is 3-1. So if RR even just gets a draw, that's not going to be a possibility. But the win would definitely drag them up. That is, I think, worth 2 points, so should give them a slight lead. And, you know, as you approach, this is the halfway mark. You don't want to waste any of these games. You're starting to run out of opportunities to find those points, so RR, they've got to step up to the plate if they want to start climbing out of the lower bottom 2, where you will be locked out after the groups if you're stuck there.
Yeah, absolutely. There will be 2 teams that get knocked out before the playoffs even start. You don't really want to be one of those 2 teams, that's for sure.
Ooh, Hustler. Nice roll in.
A bat is going to be in trouble. He will just Earth Shock away. He'll be fine. Got to say, it's not the easiest game here for Hustler. He hasn't got very much targets that he can really go on here. Like, you can't go on the Ursa, you can't go on the DK. You could try to go on the Park, but even then, she's quite elusive. Overall, you might be just kind of roaming around trying to pick off supports this game if you're Hustler.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard. I think you're going to be happy with supports. The key thing for RR is Hustler, as long as he's causing chaos, he can buy space. And space is the key for RR. You really need to get KYXY online, somehow give Nuts some EXP, give Drew good build-up into his Echo Saber, which you tend to see. And again, Alacrity has to win out this mid. This is key for RR every single time, but he sets the tempo for the entire team. And the Puck Queen of Pain lane, it's not too one-sided, but I do believe the Puck does have certain ways of just dodging out Alacrity's harassment, and has less risky wave clear with his range. So there should be a bit more from Jamesy, although you do see Alacrity pump it out a bit.
On that top lane as well, John, a tri-lane going on here from Cignal Ultra. So they're going to try and run an aggressive tri-lane up against the Monkey King to kind of diffuse this Monkey King's Jingu Mastery. Drew did end up going for the level 1 Boundless Strike though, so He's not really going to be able to abuse that level 1 Jingu yet. He'll have to wait till level 2. Balance Strike isn't too bad though, because you can secure those creeps from a range. You may feel like if you're Drew, you can't really get close right now with the tri-lane up against you. And, they're going to try and go into Nuts now on that tree, but he will be fine to just walk through the tree line. He's just fine. But it is going to be quite important for them to make this this tri-lane a success. If you're Cignal Ultra, you can't really lose this out.
Nah. You really have to win it because you dragged a bot here. You're risking his farm if you do fall behind, and you do see Hustler come up as well.
Yeah, he's going to roll up. Nice boulder smash onto 2. Grims should be the first blood. He does Fairy Fire, but the Orb of Venom slow from Hustler, but he walked back around. Balance Strike will come out. He does have to go after the kill. He may not get it though, as first blood will be out from Eris. Drew ends up finding the Monkey King, and Hustler does finally get Grims, but he tried to give the first blood away to his MK. And unfortunately, he wasn't in range to get the last hit off.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate still in the end. I mean, you're going to be happy with how that unfolded if you are a Cignal Ultra. You've basically just forced Drew to have this hard start. And a tri-lane on tri-lane situation for RR, it starves them a lot more. Because again, you have that treant, he needs EXP to really start maximizing the armor, and this is keeping Hustler away from rotating. So it's just slowing down RR's own game a lot more. A bot is still pretty much finding farm. And overall, Cignal is just getting the space they want on every other lane.
Yeah, even Alacrity in that mid lane, like, while he is farming okay on the Quap right now, he's not able to really shut down Jamesy. Luckily for him, the Living Armor will come in to give him that added regen potential on that Queen of Pain, as he doesn't really have many bottle charges left. He's just trying to secure CS for now. We'll jump in for a nice scream onto Jamesy. Phase Shift didn't quite juke it out. Meanwhile, top lane, however, a bat does go down. Now Grims will also be chased down here by Drew. Grims will die as well on the Jakiro, so a nice couple kills coming out up at the top lane for RR. And well, Cignal, again with this tri-lane, don't really want to lose like this. If that happens a couple more times, you would definitely consider that a loss.
Yeah, it's starting to lose its potency. Every time you lose a bot, that's just straight up not something you want. So you have to be careful with how far forward a bot is. Does have level 3, so maybe he feels a bit more aggressive with level 2 Earthshock. They are trying to finish off Hustler, but he can just roll out.
Yeah, Boulder Smash is there. He wants to turn around now. Eris does have the lift. A bat's going to come in to try and help out. But Nature's Grasp is also there from Nuts. Nice Ice Path there from Grims, but a roll back in on the Rubik. They are going to lose Drew. They'll get Eris as a return kill. Or maybe they won't. Hustler's still trying to chase, but the Boulder Smash will be enough. But now he's going to try and get away from a bat, who does Earthshock on top of him. Ice Path once again connecting from Grims as well. And Hustler should be dead, and yeah, Bat, he gets the Earthshock off. Great couple kills there from Cignal Ultra now.
Yeah, I honestly think this is really just working in favor of Cignal. Like, a bot's off to this really good start. Drew
Alacrity. Alacrity, he does get Jamesy before he dies, but will give his life away now to Eris on the Rubik. He didn't have a blink to get out of there, but luckily had enough damage to at least find the puck kill first.
Yeah, it's better. It is better for Alacrity as he does find a kill first, so I'm sure he's feeling okay. He did force Eris to dip down, which frees up the top lane, and overall just a lot of aggression from both sides early on. This is again favoring Cignal just a bit more because of how a bat's controlling that top lane. Although you do have pretty decent last hits on Drew, but he's died twice. So it's a bit more painful for a Monkey King. And down mid is really the only standout. Alacrity has been consistent in shoving Jamesy back. He has pulled a bit ahead, does have the EXP advantage. So with that Sonic Wave, could try to go for plays if he wanted to.
Yeah, but he won't bother. Jamesy, of course, has that phase shift. Can just juke out the Sonic Wave if it comes to it. Top lane, though, a bat is being chased down again. Hustler waiting for that roll. He's going to have it in 1 second, but the salve is already there from a bat. So this time around, the Ursa will survive. Eris may not be so lucky. Hustler gets one hit in, but that's going to be it. They're still looking for that Ursa, maybe not realizing he did salve up, but now it should be fairly obvious, because he is showing himself to the creep wave. They may still try and go here, but Grims is going to kind of block the pathing. He does end up getting a Jewel Breath off now. Hustler going to be chased down. Living Armor and Boulder Smash is there. Now with the Nature's Grasp on a bat, Drew's going to join in on this Monkey King. Roll in onto Grims. He's getting body blocked up, and now a bat going to go on. The MK Drew does not want to be in this situation. Thinking about the Boundless Strike, but nice Mischief Dodge. It won't matter. They will lose the MK for the price of a Jakiro, and it's just not worth the trade for RR.
Yeah, they've not been able to find a favorable trade so far. Abat's just been allowed to go out, and even a roll misses, so...
Yeah, now
Abat just gets
Alacrity's
to reset at
rotated.
home.
It makes it even worse when the Queen of Pain rotates like this. Like, you might find a kill on Eris, but it's not... Oh, no, James is here now as well. A double Dream Coil. Silence is there. James, he does take the Sonic Wave. And Lackery now, if he does find the puck, it'll be well worth it. Nuts going to run in as well. Getting low. Orb is there, and he'll jaunt away. Still, the chase is on. Nuts trying to find the puck, though. No, he will die beforehand. Now, Lackery being trapped up in the tree line, but he will have Blink in a second. He will be forced to blink out. And ultimately, Jamesy does barely survive on the puck.
Yeah, but in the end, that's still very worthwhile for Cignal Ultra. RR, just rotating early, not finding the trades, not finding the biggest kills they'd want. And despite the slight net worth lead on RR, it does feel like Cignal is making this early aggression work. The only thing that they're missing is EXP on Abat. He has really hurt in that department because they've maintained that trial lane for so long. But it does look like they kind of do break it up. You look down bot, you've got Eris hanging around with Van now. Van at level 7 can certainly do a lot more. Has been farming relatively well. It's been even between him and KYXY. But I do think that early farm does favor Van. He's just going to be able to work towards a blink and really start being the initiator for Cignal as the game goes on.
It's funny though, like, we haven't really seen him pushing in that tier 1 bot tower yet. It has been on the back of KYXY, who continues to just push the creep wave in back towards the tier 1 of Cignal Ultra, which I think is actually a really smart play from KYXY. Now Van, going to get jumped on here. Boulder Smash out from Hustler. I don't think you have the damage though for that DK. It's just way too tanky. They do force out rotations from Abat and Eris, and they're going to end up getting a kill onto Nuts, it seems. He tries to get away, but ultimately will die. Now mid lane, we'll see a complete lane switch up. Drew's going to be in that mid on the Monkey King, up against Jamesy on the park. And looks like this dire side is just kind of tired of this aggressive tri lane that was being run by Cignal, so they just kind of split everything up.
Yeah, this is quite the shakeup though. Drew mid up against Jamesy. It's not the most comfy time for the Monkey. This does give him easier access to the jungle, so he can play around there, but Drew's farm has most certainly suffered from that tri lane, and you have Van down here to try to push out mid as well. So they do want this tier 1 gone fast.
I mean, this is the way you play against the Treant though. They're going to try and roll in. Roll will not connect from Hustler. Now Dream Call onto 3. That is not great news for the side of RR. They're losing that Earth Spirit quite soon. A bat jumps in as well onto Alacrity. He will blink away, but Eris is there. No control available though. They don't have the stun or the lift, but it will not matter. A bat does get the kill. Now dying to Drew on the Monkey. Eris will turn around with his own balance, and there's a double damage there, but Jamesy, he couldn't get it in time before Drew does get the deny off. But still, Van, he will just go back in for that tier 1 mid tower. That's all he wants. Nuts is trying to get it healed up. They do get a substantial amount of damage off, but they do not finish the job off. And that will mean Nuts does have time to heal it up.
Yeah, this is giving a lot of space towards KYXY to just farm down bot, and Van being chased up.
He is being chased. KYXY going to be there with the poison touch now, but no, he's not in range for it. There's been quite a lot of focus here on trying to make sure Van doesn't farm too well, but he's a DK. I don't think he minds. He's okay to die as long as he still does his job, which is push. Now KYXY going to get jumped on. Boundless strike out from Eris as well on the Rubik. There is a Primal Spring coming in from Drew. KOXY ultimately should have time to get the Shallow Grave off.
Yeah, this should be more than enough. Unless does Eris have they do have the lift, but I don't know if you have enough damage.
KOXY, still no Shallow Grave. He does get it off now. Drew trying to fight back, but here comes Hustler. He'll help as well. Magnetize has been pocked. A great Boundless strike just destroying a bat, and now Van and Eris have to back off. Magnetize just continues to be refreshed here. Eris is getting very, very low. They're going to roll in. Eris so close to dying, but Hustler, he got too greedy. He does get the kill in the end on the Rubik, but it does cost him his life, and now they will make the secondary jump. A Dream Call coming out with a double Ice Path. Grims onto that DK. KYXY does die, and Drew does also go down. So these very prolonged team fights just continue to favor Cignal Ultra.
Yeah, it's been rather messy for both. I think losing Abba back to back like that does hurt, although he does find a kind of a free gift for himself in that tree, and so kind of compensates for that. Still, 14 to 10, slight advantage still there for RR. This is down to the fact that Cignal has pretty much ignored creeps for the most part, and they haven't been able to find an objective just yet. Like, RR did find a bot tier 1, so they have that gold boost from that. But Cignal has not been able to apply pressure on the objectives. You really need Van to start committing along with Grims to start melting those towers. You can't afford to leave them up. Still, RR smoke up. They want to keep going here.
Yeah, Van again going to be targeted. Gets rolled on. With Alacrity there, they'll definitely have enough damage. He's trying to farm towards that Blink Dagger, but considering the amount of CS he had, you'd expect the farm to be just a little bit faster. Now RR, they have the Necro 1 book up on KYXY, so it's time to start slowly sieging away on your own side of things. They'll go after that bot lane, but of course Grims comes in with the macro. They do glyph the creeps, but they aren't going to last here. But roll in now. Hustler wants to try and go for this kill. Gets double silence off, and now Grims in big, big trouble. Will turn around for the dual breath and lift there onto Drew. It will not matter. They do still get the kill, but now Dream Call again going to be out from Jamesy. Hustler will go in with the Magnetize. A very nice one at that. Eris, however, has found a double kill, and Hustler, he's only left with Alacrity now. Jamesy, though, trying to get out, and oh, here we go. It's disconnection time.
Oh. Well, RR just got completely wiped in that turnaround on the steps. They did have to drop Jamesy there. That's a 6-time streak going the way of Hustler in the end. But I think Cignal's going to be very happy finding every single hero from RR for 2 heroes, so it's a worthwhile trade for them. While that's happening, Abad is shoving in top. Not quite enough damage just on that Ursa to melt the tier 1 top. So RR, they dive a bit too deep behind that tier 2. They pay for it with numbers. But no objectives for Cignal to push out. Does mean that this game stays relatively even.
Yeah, Cignal does get the top tier 1 tower. The mid one is also being pushed down. Van is there on the DK Dragon form. They'll glyph up that tier 1 mid tower as they really don't want to lose that. The Cignal, of course, don't really want to back off either, but they're running out of that Dragon form. That'll be it. Cignal Ultra, they're going to back off, leaving it at very low HP again. But Nuts will just focus his attention, making sure it does stay up and running. And will Cignal Ultra, they will just ensure that a bat can just keep farming up on this Ursa. Never mind, we have a bounty being placed now. Alacrity is to be targeted on that Queen of Pain. In all fairness, he is at the top of the net worth board right now, so he is worth quite a lot. Just a matter of whether the Cignal can actually get the jump on Alacrity.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. Like, it takes a lot to pin down that Queen of Pain, and the fights have been seriously messy. It should be a lot easier to pull off, though, with Van's Blink finally up and running. So you have the Dragon Tail initiation that can come into play. Gives him a lot more of a reliable way of starting these fights, and that's going to be important for Cignal. They really just need to get their focus down on one hero and really just pin them out. The issue is RR is highly mobile, so it gets hard in a bit of a scattered fight, but
Dream Coil, mid
Jamesy.
lane. Veil there from Jamesy as well. He's just trying to control up these two as his team does come to back him up. They do come in now. Van's focusing on that T1 again, and it looks like that initiation was just a bit too early. So Hustler, he'll roll in, gets a nice magnetize off. Where's the follow-up though? Alacrity, a great Sonic Wave connecting on 3. They'll kill off Eris. Here comes Drew as well, and they just clean him up. Jamesy, he does kill off Hustler, but this may cost him his life as well. So he's going to be chased down. He'll have Orb up in a second. Can he get out of there? No, there's going to be a Primal Spring in, and Alacrity will just blink up to the puck. And that'll be a 4-for-1 trade off the back of Hustler's initiation.
It's a really good fight for RR. They're going to be able to find that tier 1 mid as well, although the Fortify is forced out, but still not going to be standing for too long. The damage is flying out on RR. And Cignal, they're just not able to find the objectives fast enough. That initiation was a bit too scattered. They need to tighten up the execution. They do risk giving RR a runaway start now. Alacrity has the Orchid. That's just more control from the Queen of Pain that you have to contend with. And right now you don't really have a way of purging that off. So whoever Alacrity jumps is really going to be in a lot of trouble.
Oh, Jamesy. Bot lane is currently being watched by Drew. Drew is kind of by himself. Like, he has nuts there, but Cignal have plenty of heroes around that jungle. So, of course, Drew won't make the jump in. Up at that top lane, a Bat's thinking about going on to Hustler, but he should have an easy way out. In fact, Alacrity jumps in with an Orchid now, and a Bat may end up dropping all this damage. He does. Hustler baits out the kill onto the Ursa, and now has the full Spirit Vessel up.
Yeah, that just really makes it harder for Cignal to have that durability they're looking for.
KYXY got low. Shallow Grave will save him. Now Overgrowth stolen by Eris. He'll try and turn this one around. Alacrity's the main priority target. He gets stunned in the Macro Pyre, still getting lifted up in there as well. He just can't get out of there, and they do claim the bounty. Now Drew with the Wukong's command is going to try and fight back, but he is surrounded by heroes. Can he really beat this DK? Probably not, but KYXY gets in there with the Shallow Grave. Now Hustler comes in. They do get the DK. In Eris, he'll be the next target. He's trying to juke this out, but again, he is also surrounded. And Hustler with the triple kill on the Earth Spirit. Grims, I would not go back, sir. It is not safe.
Yeah, it's Hustler. He's a fantastic Earth Spirit player. We've seen this from RR before, and it's certainly nice to see that it does slide through. Making all the plays here. Really early time in that Spirit Vessel pointed out earlier. One thing RR is kind of slipping up on is Drew has been chopped a couple of times. It's not easy when your Monkey King is supposed to follow up with the Wukongs and then doesn't because he's chopped down. Gotta be careful about that positioning for our Monkey, but beyond that, it has been shaping up nicely here for RR. They have the 3k advantage. They are still ahead with Alacrity. They are still playing aggressive. They're not giving any breathing room towards Cignal. So continuously invading that jungle. They know they have a lot of control with Alacrity, although big clump up from Cignal.
Yeah, they'll see their outpost being taken. They want to try and take it back before that 20-minute mark hits, and now Van gonna jump in onto Nuts. Nice easy pick off on that Dream Protector. Hustler's around the corner as well if they wanted to try and make the jump on him, but looks like he will be within safety's range. And Jamesy.
Oh.
Orb does go through Alacrity. Dream Coil misses. Alacrity gonna take that as a TP. Hustler has the TP as well, but he's just gonna stick around and roll through the tree line. He's not too afraid.
It's RR just being very slippery, hard to catch out. And Cignal tried to force in the bot, but if they don't commit hard, then it just heals up. Again, they're stuck at one tower taken here, Cignal Ultra. You look down mid, it's fully healed up. All that chip damage they did is gone. So the objective game for Cignal, it's just really not shaping up. They're giving the Treant too much value here.
Uh-oh, Van gonna be in trouble. Rolled on again by Hustler. He'll kick him back. With that Spirit Vessel, Van is not as tanky, and Hustler, he's not scared. He'll go in with the 3-man Magnetize and the 3-man Silence. Jamesy gonna be in trouble. He will end up going down. Now Grims In fact, no, it's Eris that wants to be chased here. Boulder Smash onto 2. Hustler! Oh, it's a work of art, John.
Whew. Yeah. It's, that is one hell of a trick shot from Hustler. Just finding every single thing every time. Setting up for RR. And Cignal just dropping so many heroes at once. Their only saving grace right now is that Abat does have the Battle Fury. So he's free farming on the Ursa, saving up for the BKB. And, that does give a bit more for that Ursa. It's just everyone else is suffering so hard. It's not been a good time, especially for Jamesy. Like, the puck is just pretty behind. No Blink, no Yules. And without those items, the puck is just not as scary as it should be.
You think that's bad, John? The van on the DK is currently naked. He's lost all his armor. It's not a very
lovely,
good feeling
yeah.
Not a very good feeling for him.
Oh, no.
Bot lane, they're going to start forcing in that tier 2 tower. You do have the Guardian Greaves up on KYXY, and Grims tries to get close to defend. That is not a good idea, though. He just dies to the Orchid damage. Now they'll jump in onto Hustler. Stun is there. They should have the control, but no, he turns around with the Silence Boulder Smash. Now Alacrity comes back in. He'll roll out of there. And they find this Quap. Sonic Wave's going to be nice. He'll roll back in now. Eris misses the Sonic Wave, and Hustler now gets the Magnetize off. Shallow Grave will be there as well. Drew will jump in. Hustler somehow still alive. Rolls back onto the DK van. He will finally secure the kill, but this is not looking great for the side of Cignal. Another Shallow Grave on the MK now. Overgrowth is there from Nuts. They're trying to make sure Drew gets out. Can he, though? No. Ice Path will be there from Grims. Jamesy also gets the kill on KYXY, and now they'll lose their Train Protector. And it's a full team wipe out for the side of Cignal Ultra. They lose everything.
Yeah, that's a lot of back and forth, and again, a lot from RR that just doesn't manage to really hook up. I think the biggest issue is that every single time you see Drew come in, he has not been able to use that Wukong's to great effect. And without that Wukong's, the presence of the Monkey King is kind of kept in check. This is a really nice opening for Cignal to get a push going down mid, but it's been long enough that the Forte is back up, and of course Nuts has respawned. You're not going to melt that. Still, RR, despite that setback, do still find certain items coming out. You've got the Desolator up and running on Drew, so his damage shoots up a bit, and you, on Cignal's side, also have the BKB running on a bot. So, there is a lot more from the Ursa now. They smoke up, they want to reveal this.
Yeah, but Nuts breaks it. He has the GG branch, so he can actually just run through the mid lane like this. They'll be forced to put a sentry down to kill him. I mean, it's very obvious what he's doing, but I guess it's a fun little trick. With that Train Protector down now, they are going to be able to secure that tier 1 mid tower. And it looks like it's time to go for that Roshan attempt. Not the easiest Roche to go for, though. You've got so many ways to steal this Aegis away if you are RR. It's going to be very important to block any ways to roll in here for this Earth Spirit. Drew will try and get close to give vision. Of course, Hustler's going to be there trying to go for the steal. They don't have any vision of the Roshan yet, so they may not go for it, and yeah, they won't have time. The Aegis will come out for a bat. And the side of RR will just not bother trying.
Yeah, it's a good little pickup for Cignal. They managed to give themselves a lot more leeway here on Abat. So you should be able to stand and fight with more confidence coming out. RR, they're not feeling too bad. Again, they still hold on to a lot of objectives on the map. They can still sustain those objectives as well. You look at Nuts, he does finish up the Blink. So you can get in position for big overgrowths now. A lot of ways of taking control in the bigger team fights. Something that Cignal should watch out for. Although they do group up top, they're not wasting any time. They know they have to try it and keep pushing unless they want to get trapped in a situation where the push just can't come out.
Yeah, well, there's that living armor again. They'll get through it this time. They're not gonna back off. No Dragon Form, which makes it a little bit harder, but eventually they'll get there. No, Glyph's going to be there. RR do push down the bot tier 2 tower, and we're even forcing in the mid tier 2. The Cignal, they have not backed off yet. They're still forcing in that top tier 2. And Eventually they do get it. However, mid lane, RR are still hanging around. They want to try and force a team fight out from the side of Cignal Ultra, which doesn't necessarily feel like the greatest idea considering you are going to be fighting into an Aegis. But I suppose they do still feel very, very strong. Alacrity now does have the BKB up as well, so he might be feeling quite confident to survive these team fights. Ultimately, they will back off, though.
Yeah, it's not too bad for Cignal. Just finding a bit of a tower trade for themselves up top. I think overall, you are happy with the game slowing down just a bit. This does give opportunities for certain items to come out. Jamesy finishes up the Ags on that puck. So you've got the upgraded Dream Coil. You have the control for that Queen of Pain. Pretty good timing up against that BKB on Alacrity. But a major point of concern is that KYXY hits 18. Level 3 Bad Juju up and running. With the pipe, with the Guardian Greaves, the sustain this Dazzle is going to bring is not going to be easy to manage.
No, that will not be easy at all. Alacrity top lane, gonna BKB up, still going after the T1. Tries to now kill off Grims. Sonic Wave will be enough. Eris does take the Sonic Wave for himself, however. And I believe that was your 10-second charge on that BKB. Yeah, it was. Just for the sake of a hero kill, now a bat. Ends up killing off Hustler down at the bot lane. So the Earth Spirit getting caught out with his pants down, and a bat takes advantage. And now we'll think about going up to KYXY, but Alacrity has rotated. Does get the Orchid, but doesn't quite get the Shadow Strike. And that allows time now for Jamesy to come in and try to go for a Dream Coil, and that he does. Straight onto the Dazzle. That's an Aghanim Scepter Dream Coil, so breaking that coil is not a good idea. KYXY, though, does get the Shallow Grave off, but he will probably still die. He does get used up. It'll be an easy cleanup there for Eris.
Yeah, now you have the option for pushing this bot tier 1. With Van around, it's not going to be as hard, although Nuts is going to make this a bit more annoying, but eventually should fall. Still, RR maintain a slight lead. They have to be careful about bleeding these kills away, but I think they really just want to give Drew some space to farm up. He needs that BKB. He's been consistently controlled up. Once you have that BKB, it should be easier for the Monkey King to actually toss out the Wukong's command, which again, we haven't really seen used all too much from Drew.
Well, Cignal just going to keep going. That bottom tier 2 tower going to fall very, very soon, and there it goes. Are going to have a disconnection now from Van. Looks like there might be an incoming team fight. Then no, it's only Hustler and Nuts. You don't really have anyone else there on the side of RR to start a team fight off. They are still forcing that mid tier 2 there with Alacrity, but he's not really going to be able to get that much damage off onto it. Well, when one person reconnects, we'll have another issue, but we do have the go. And, looks like the Quap won't even bother trying to stick around Alacrity. He does just heap or blink out of there. Now Nuts, thinking about going on a bat, can cancel the TP and does. Just commits the overgrowth for that. He needs help if they want to take this Aegis off a bat. He doesn't really have any. And, Hustler wants to roll in. This is dangerous, Hustler. He does get bashed up straight away. Ice Path there as well, and yeah, that was not the roll in. They are going to commit Wukong's unknown. There's a Sonic Wave forcing Drew out of the tree line from Eris, and now the Wukong's does come out, but the Ice Path is there. Sonic Wave out from the Queen of Pain, but they are getting demolished. Van will just man fight. In fact, no, Van does die, but you are still going to lose your Quap, you're going to lose your Monkey, a bat on a triple now, going to go after KYXY, a great Ice Path set up there from Grims. And KYXY is just a sitting duck for an Ultra kill.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's not a good trade for RR. They were forcing the fight out while everyone was far. Hustler died a bit too fast. You really need that Earth Spirit around to continuously pump out the spells for you, and Hustle's so far ahead. I mean, he was so far ahead that he actually has a very early BKB on that Earth Spirit. Still, opening up an opportunity for Cignal straight into the high ground. They're not messing around this game.
No, that they aren't. I don't disagree with this at all. Even without that Aegis, you've just got to make these pushes when you can. They are going to actually try and secure the racks while they're at it. In all fairness, there's no buyback, so you definitely can try to. I say try, but it looks like they are going to finish this off. So Abad is currently just dodging every ability that's flying out to him. And yeah, they'll find the first racks of the game. The roll-in is there from Hustler. 4-Staff, Dreamcore out now. The BKB pop from Abad. He's going to turn around. Straight back on Alacrity. Alacrity's in trouble. He probably will die and does. Now the overgrowth is there. They finally kill off the Ursa, but Nuts will go down in the tree, and Grims will be the third to go. Now the stun out from Van. They're going to try and retreat here. Jamesy, Boundless Strike will not really connect. He orbs out of there, but Hustler is there with the roll. Jamesy should die and does. A really messy team fight from both teams. A 2-for-3 trade anyway, so RR, they do come out on top. They do expend a buyback there on the Treant, but ultimately they need every kill they can get right now. So I don't think they mind too much.
Yeah, Eris is still on the run. He does get out safely in the end. Quite a chase from Hustler, but not quite enough. And, I mean, Cignal in the end are happy, right? They take that first racks, they force the buyback. RR, you may find some of these kills, but are 5k behind. Cignal is starting to build up a bit too much. RR still has the opportunity to bounce back in. It's not a big deficit. It's just that they really have to be on point with how they take these fights. They need to be able to let Drew just do Monkey King things, and every single time he's just always isolated, thrown off a tree. He can't afford to have that happen.
Is it not too late to do Monkey King things though? Like we're 32 minutes into the game now. He almost goes, oh my goodness, jumps into the tree, trying to go after Grims. Grims should die. But do they go for the full-scale team fight? Apparently they do. They were trying to go onto Van, but he will back off, back to his base. So you do find a nice Jakiro pick-off. That'll open up that tier 2 mid-tower a little bit, but they do glyph through it. And ultimately, RR won't be able to push.
They've been stalled out. Again, they have lost a lot of map control, so even if they win those earlier fights, they don't find much, although Eris is...
Oh, they almost end up finding Eris, but not quite. He does get knocked out of the tree now. That could be bad. Eris will die on the Rubik. Now Hustler going to go on to Jamesy. They're trying to control up Abad, but he's on the tree right now. Alacrity, a great Sonic Wave. It won't be enough. There's the Magnetize coming out. Abad does find one in the form of the tree, and now going on to Alacrity, but he does die in the Ursa, and now you've got a sitting duck for a DK who will go down. Eris has brought back, but may just die straight away as they do connect the secondary roll. And Alacrity wants to go high ground after Grims, and they will secure the Jakiro kill once again. A great team fight out from RR, and perhaps now they could go high ground.
Oh, they definitely can. There's no buyback on Abad, but they have really thrown a lot of weight there. It's now a 2k advantage for RR. There's nothing to stop them. Drew, with the Desolator, of course, can really melt these towers, and I mean, that's what happens when you just get a bit too overconfident. Really good punishment from RR. They get to find a set of racks for themselves. They're going to go bot. They're not going to stop. They know they can.
I agree with this. Of course, it's time to go. You don't want to give this opening away. They won't be able to secure Megas, as there is a tier 2 top tower still available here for RR. But they can at least secure 2 barracks for themselves and start working on towards that top tier 2. Looks like the line has been drawn out though. It's time to go defend that bot lane. But you know what, John? They also have the time for a Roshan if they really wanted to rush there. It looks like they won't decide to.
Yeah, it is slightly risky with a puck Ags up. They do dip in, but yeah, Hustler actually looks like he wants his cores to come in, so they're gonna go smoke up first. It's bait.
Yeah, it is bait. Jamesy gonna run straight into it. Hustler roll into the high ground. Jamesy will just jump away. Yule's up as well. Both teams going to hang around this Roshan pit now, as neither one can really afford to let the other one have it. Smoke up now from Cignal Ultra. Going to be a bit of a wraparound here from RR. Cignal will try to do the same. Of course, Drew is going to be there to break the smoke if they run into him. He's just trying to scout out for his team right now. They know that they're errors. He's going to get caught out straight away, getting silenced up. But Drew, Dream Call is there as well. They lock him in. They're going for Nuts first on the tree, and he's still not dead, but ultimately should die. Sonic Wave comes out. Wukong's is pretty nice from Drew, but a bat is taking him down. The Shallow Grave will save for now, however, and a bat, he can't actually finish him off. Drew is still there, but no, the Macropire will be the one to burn him out. Now Jamesy will jump back in onto Alacrity. Van drops low. He will die to Alacrity on that quap. And the buybacks are out from Hustler. And, of course, Drew. They rush straight back to that Roshan pit. You'll see a buyback as well from Grims, but he can't really do much to stop this Roshan from happening.
No, and that is going to be the rush for RR. It did cost them a bit. But in the end, they're going to have that fallback for at least Drew. They're going to have the cheese up as well. So a lot more leeway there for them to take the next fights. A bit messy. They were definitely under that Macropire too much. That's a lot of value coming out from Grims. But they find the objective they were looking for in the end. And they can start to make their way towards that top tier to clear out the last outer tower from Cignal. Then they open up the high ground for the last set of racks. Cignal, I mean, you take a look at that net worth graph, Mike. It's just been a back and forth. It's most definitely on RR's side now. Massive 5k swings. And Cignal's really just bled a lot of space. They need the Ags up and running on Abat just so he can stand and not worry about the control. He also needs lifesteal. And that's the one thing. He can survive long. The damage doesn't fly out while Enrage there. It's just he doesn't have sustain coming out. It's a very different story from RR, where you've just got KYXY keeping Drew alive in these longer engagements, and that has been giving RR the advantage. Just the fact that Drew is very hard to kill from that sustain. So after the Ags for a bot, probably just look for the Satanic. Once you have that up, then you can maybe start fighting once more. It's a lot of farm to go through, though.
Well, RR just going to keep all the waves pushed in. Cignal just going to have to stick together as a team now and make sure they don't give any openings away from RR. It's like the side of RR are just kind of looking for an opening here from Cignal Ultra, seeing if they can make a mistake or two. That Invis rune right now, Drew's just waiting to see if he can just wait for someone to try and take it, and he can maybe jump in. But Hustler will be the one to take it for himself. Cignal. So just going to roam around through their Radiant Triangle, and we will have a Bat showing himself up at that top lane. Again, that is the one lane where the tier 2 tower is still standing for Cignal Ultra, so if you are RR, you would love to just go ahead and take that right now, but they spot out Jamesy, so they're going to make the chase to him. He will try to orb out. Roll's going on as well. They are chasing. They do find the courier. That was a sight device of Alacrity going down. And Jamesy just wastes so much time juking them out and eventually just TPs.
Yeah, that was pretty slow reactions from Nuts. He blinked down, he saw the puck, he didn't commit. That does cost him. They're probably just going to have to wait for the Hex now in Alacrity. It's going to be 3.5 minutes. It's a very long wait. They do want to use this Aegis as well, and well, 3 minutes is a bit too long to wait for that and the Aegis use. So they've got to make a decision, and they're not finding targets. Cignal has been able to dance around. Really good distractions coming out. This has given Cignal some time to recoup. You've got the Ags on Abat, of course. Next is the Satanic. Is still a long way off, but the Ags does mean he can at least pop the Enrage as needed, and that might be enough. You have the Halberd on Van as well, of course, just to disarm Drew. So it gets a bit harder for Drew to just stand and focus. But Drew has finished up the Abyssal. So he's got solid initiation now and added durability, more utility in his right clicks. Just makes it scarier to face off against the Monkey King.
Cignal is just doing a great job of avoiding the side of Reality Rift right now. This is the one thing they can do though, right? You just go up to that top lane and start forcing in this wave. That tier 2 tower may be enough for Cignal Ultra to come back and defend. In fact, they may not, but ultimately they will have to get prepared for that high ground defense. And James is going to try and force in the bot wave. Give him a reason to come back and defend on the dire side of things. But RR, you still have time with that Aegis on Drew. You could probably try and make a high ground play right now. That's what they're going to try and do.
This is slightly risky. Drew only has like 20 seconds left on that Aegis, so if they actually catch him out here, Cignal can make stuff happen.
That they can. He's just going to slowly chip away at that tier 3 tower. Now the smoke up, they do lift him up, they jump in as well. Dream Call there on Drew, he needs help, but there is a 4-man silence coming out from the park. Overgrowth now is there from Eris as well.
No.
Sonic Wave out, but Drew, he dies while the Aegis expires. Now Hustler's in trouble. He's going to try and make a run, but he is a sitting duck to a battle. Maybe not. He eats the cheese, but Ice Path will hold him down. KYXY is in trouble as well. He's shallow grave, but he is going to die. Oh, that is unfortunate. That 4-man silence that was out from Jamesy was enough to hold them back and they weren't able to help out Drew.
Again, that was pretty poor timing from RR. They forced a fight when the Aegis was just about to expire. They should have been aware of that timer. And they get punished hard. There's no buybacks on all 3 heroes. So there's an opportunity for Cignal to keep pushing out. You do have Nuts to try to play the stall game here. He is continuously shoving in that top lane. And he is going to be healing every objective that Cignal will try to take. So it's going to slow down that push just by a fair bit. This might be enough for RR to have respawns on their heroes. It's still a full minute for the bigger guys though.
We'll look at the tier 2 mid. Onto the high ground now for Cignal Ultra. Scythe the Vice is now up on Alacrity, but Jamesy ends up killing Nuts in the Radiant base. Buyback from Nuts straight away. Oh, tier 4s. They're thinking about it. Pings were coming out, but they'll go for the safer play. They'll try for the Megas. There's no buybacks, though, on Drew. For another 25 seconds, he just can't be here. They'd rather not risk it. They're going to go for the safer play. They should be able to get it in time before every single person is up. Like, Hustler's still got another 20 seconds as well. Not as fast as you would hope, but they're going to get it done. Alacrity, though, going to jump in now with the Scythe Device just by himself. There's Nuts with the 3-man Overgrowth, but he should go down fairly quick. That'll be a dieback on the Treant. Now Alacrity, great Sonic Wave, does kill off Grims, and Wukong's command is also out from Drew. That's going to force Cignal back. They're still trying. Eris getting caught out now on the Rubik, should die as well. They do get the kill there.
Yeah, it's a defense coming out from RR, and they still lost their axe. They lost the tier 3 top. This does open a lot more for Cignal to try to take next time around, but it's enough to push them back for now. Still a advantage for Cignal in terms of gold. You have the 6k swing back their way, and you start to worry about the Ursa. About is starting to bounce back into these fights. He has the Abyssal. He's, again, saving up for the Satanic, and it's almost up. Once that's up, sustain on the Ursa is going to be a big issue. Like, you do have that Urn, but he does have Dispels. So he can't just stand there and ignore any sort of minus or reduction you have on his healing. RR, they need to take these fights smartly. They need to go in safely, maximize that sight on Alacrity, Just try to find a big pick-off. I think at this point, you might just want to take Jamesy out straight up. He's been way too disruptive with that puck and been causing a lot of issues for RR.
Well, they'll find the tier 3 tower up that top lane now, RR. We'll approach that 45-minute mark. 3k net worth lead still standing for Cignal Ultra. Aghanim Scepter now up onto Van, so you got the Black Dragon coming out now. That's a scary one. Alright. I mean, both teams are just 1 racks away from getting megas. It's such a close game now. This next team fight could really just decide who wins out the game.
Yeah, it's you check the graphs, it's been so back and forth from both sides. It just spikes in either way. And it's been really close. Each one have found their wins. You have the Satanic up now and Abbat, so the sustain is there. He can just stand and fight, and RR in the past few fights have not been looking too great, so have to see if they do have enough to keep Abbat in check.
RR still waiting for their opportunity to try and go in. Roshan does now spawn up. So both teams, of course, going to start circling around that Roshan pit, making sure they try and deny it from the other. Both of them will have a vision of that Roshan. Abbat, he's thinking about going in. Does get debated by that nuts illusion. Now in the back lines. Oh, Grims ends up going down to the Jakiro. He'll have buyback available. He can just buy back and come back in if he needs to. Drew does get out of Bat. Hustler, he's going to go for the roll-in now. Abbat is in trouble. Scythe Device is there from Alacrity. Boulder Smash as well with the silence. But Abbat, he will pop the Minotaur Horn and be fine. They still haven't completely jumped in RR. They are being hesitant. In all fairness, the Dragon Form was popped anyway, so you can just wait that out. And they're going to rush off to the Roshan pit now. Or maybe they're not. They'll still stick around on this high ground. Pings were going towards that Roshan pit from RR's side. Cignal Ultra, though, they've smoked up now, trying to loop around to the Roshan. But Alacrity jumping back in. He does get abyssal up by a bat, but Overgrowth is there from Nuts. Now the Ice Path has been dropped. Alacrity, he will be saved by the shallow grave of KYXY. Hustler with the Magnetize, just popping it up. Van still trying to deal with the Quap and does eventually kill off Alacrity. Now a 3-man Ice Path in the Macro Pyre. The Wukong's command is doing really nothing. But it won't matter. RR is still winning this team fight as the buyback was available on Alacrity, so they'll jump back in. Jamesy still dancing around them. Eris now with the lift onto Drew. Nobody really dying here quite yet. Drew turns around with the Boundless Strike. Now it's a lot of damage. Hustler goes back onto Van. Abbat meanwhile goes back onto KYXY. They need to kill off that Dazzle. He's healing them up way too much. Drew will jump back in now. Back onto that Ursa. Bat, he does end up going down. No buyback available. Now James is getting very, very low. He needs to jaunt out of there. But Van is even lower. Poison Touch, Boundless Strike, that'll be enough. Alacrity secures the skill with the Scream. And Eris, he's the fourth one to go down here though. No, James, he turns around to pick off Hustler. Alacrity, he misses the Scream there onto the Rubik. Buyback out from Hustler. Eris surrounded, will end up going down. That's 4 down without buybacks. They don't actually need to go for this Roshan. They can go directly to the base. But they will go secure Roche first.
Yeah, it's the safer play, and RR again bouncing back in. Just so much to deal with, so much to contend with Cignal, and that wraparound cost them. It placed them in the low ground. It placed them at a very tough spot to try and contest. And no.
Jamesy does jaunt in. Roshan's still very healthy. Gotta be careful because that Scream with the fear from the Quap can be quite devastating for this park. Dream Coil there. Hustler gonna try and make sure this Aegis does not get stolen, and it does not. Alacrity does take the Aegis. Refresher Shard gonna be there for Drew. You've given time for them to respawn, though, on Cignal Ultra. I don't know if this was a mistake, John. Like, you had the chance to not only get Megas, but just finish the game. But it seems as though RR haven't realized that they had no buybacks left.
Yeah, I think that is a big missed opportunity. Cignal has a bit of a chance now to try to find their own favorable fight. The key thing is really just you have to kill KYXY and back. His sustain is just too much. Yeah, his shallow graves have been saving Alacrity and Drew far too often, delaying the fight for Cignal. It means just that they can't find those kills, and I think if you find that kill on the Dazzle, KYXY, if you take him out, you have the control, you have the damage. You just need a Dazzle out. Still, RR, I mean, they've got the 5k advantage themselves. They're feeling confident. They've got the Scotty up.
Alacrity jumps in. He has got the puck with that side device. This is a big pickoff, but no, the force staff, the boulder smash. Phase shift is there in time. Now Jamesy turns back around. The ice path macro. They're all grouped up. Wukong's command is there. Now the magnetize from Hustler trying to turn it around. The Ursa falling lower bat. He can't afford to die right now. He's trying to fight back. The Battle Fury, the cleave. It won't be enough. He does die. Eris goes down as well. Alacrity's still alive. Going after Jamesy now on that puck. And Van is still trying to fight back up against that Earth Spirit. But Alacrity going back in. Really wants to take down Jamesy. They don't have enough yet. But it's a 5v3 situation. This is their chance. Dragon form will be wearing off very, very soon as well. You won't have that going into this Rax defense. Wukong's going to be out, just going to zone them out of that Rax, and they are going to secure Megas.
It's been a slow go for Reality Rift, but they finally find the last Rax and just the Ancient left. Now this is where it gets. It should be a bit more straightforward, but they are still scared. This is giving time for a bat to respawn, and their caution will give an opportunity to Cignal to reset once more. They are picking up some big items, though. You've got the AC up and running on Alacrity. So the AC and Shiva's up on Alacrity does mean that it's very hard to burst him down, even with the Ursa. Just means he's going to be alive for a lot longer. And Cignal, I think their best bet has been stealing Shallow Grave. Every single time Eris has that spell, they have been able to keep a bat alive for a bit longer. It's just that you see Abbat, he's just in front playing 1v5. It's just him that Reality Rift cares for in the end, and him alone is not enough against the entirety of RR. There needs to be more coming out from the rest of Cignal. It's just, I don't know what else you can expect. I mean, you've already got the Ags and Van. The AC would be nice. Boost that up, but he definitely didn't go for like a right-click build. Jamesy did go to utility as well, though he has his level 30. So if he does build into the Mjolnir, I guess there's a lot more that can be done with that Dream Coil Rapid Fire. There's a lot of damage to watch out for with that level 30 being hit up. You don't quite have that same EXP gain on the side of RR. So no one quite close to that point yet, unfortunately. Your closest bet is, well, it does look to be just our monkey, and Drew is at 29. Once you hit, I guess when you hit 30, that's nice. You get a little bit more damage. The armor is really it, though. Like, right now, all the damage coming out is physical. Yeah, especially on a bot, of course, but 100 armor is really hard to go through.
They're going to smoke up. Going into the side of RR. Everyone just hiding in the trees. Oh, they jump in straight onto KYXY. Get rid of that Dazzle. Spirit Vessel will be there. Bat jumps in with the Abyssal Blade as well. Still not dead. He force staffs out. Still getting stunned up again. Still not dead, however. They just can't kill him. Now the Overgrowth is there with a 3-man Sonic Wave, but he got the Shallow Grave off in time. Van is still chasing. They don't have enough. He will survive on the Dazzle. And Eris is trying to run. He will not be able to TP away. He gets feared. Grim does go down. Now Abat going after Hustler. Drew is there to help him out. They roll back in. The US is in trouble. Scythe the Vice in rage. It doesn't matter though. Abat does die and he calls GG. They have had enough. And KYXY, he was just apparently unkillable at the end of the game. And I believe I may have lost John. He's gone very silent on me. And in fact, I have. Luckily, we lost him at the end of the game. He'll be back for game number 2. Speaking of game number 2, that'll be up in about 10 minutes from now. It is MLP Dota and johnxfire, and we'll see you again very, very soon for that second game of this Best of 2 series.